Halacha Yomi. We are on the laws of candle lighting, and we are on page over here. We left off on page 79, Halachot of Adlakat Nerot on Chanukah. So, Halacha 29 over here on page 79. On Erev Shabbat, the Chanukah lights are kindled before Shabbat lights. That's what Maran writes in Siman Taf Rish Ayin Tet. So that Chanukah you light before Shabbat candles. If someone accidentally lit the Shabbat candles before the Chanukah candles, you could still light the Chanukah candles, like we said last time, that you don't accept Shabbat necessarily when you light the Shabbat candles. However, if you did accept Shabbat with your lighting, either you had in mind or you lit half hour before sunset, which you do have to accept Shabbat in order for it to be a valid lighting, then another person in the house who did not accept Shabbat should light the Chanukah candles instead. So the same person shouldn't do it, but someone else should. Okay, let's see the note, 38. See the Ben Ish Hai, which states that even for Kabbalistic reasons, Shabbat candles should not be lit before the Chanukah candles, even if the man is lighting the Chanukah candles and the wife is lighting Shabbat candles. So you always should have first Chanukah candles and then Shabbat candles. 39. The Chazon Ovadia Hanukkah, page 176, says that according to Shulchan Aruch, lighting Shabbat candles is not necessarily enough for one to accept Shabbat. So that's always 34. If one verbally accepts Shabbat through his lighting, though, he may not perform Halacha and should ask someone else to light the Hanukkah candles. Okay, page 80. Halacha 30. The mitzvah of Lakat Nerot should be done in the room, preferably where one will be eating the Shabbat meal, in a room one will be using throughout the Shabbat. A lot of people have the custom of putting like a small table, putting somewhere in the room, some ledge or some table to set up the Shabbat candles, and it should be in the same room as the dining room where a person is going to eat. One may not light in a place where one will not be using. So you have to benefit from the light. Don't put it in a place where you won't benefit from it. Once one has lit in the dining room, there's no obligation to light in the other rooms of the house, even if you'll be using other rooms on Shabbat. However, it's praiseworthy to have light in every room in the house that one will be using on Shabbat. A bracha may not be said when lighting additional lights throughout the home. Once you make the bracha and then initial light in the dining room, then now you're done with the bracha. 42. Chazon Ovadia adds, and Yekud Yosef adds, that one should light an electric light in the hallway throughout Shabbat, so that it can also shine into the other rooms of the house that do not have light, so you can see your way around and not stumble in the dark. But I guess in your room you want it to be dark, so you won't have a light in there. 31. The Shabbat candles do not have to be placed specifically on the table, especially in a home where there's children around. There's a risk that the candles will be tipped over on the table. Nevertheless, the candles should be placed in close proximity to the table. One's eating and one can benefit from the light. This is what the Ramah writes. Siman Resh Samech Gimal. He says that the candle should be on the table. However, the Kaf HaChaim says the candle should be placed facing the table in the south. Any case, Halacha Barah says that it's preferable one should place the candles in close proximity to the table that you're eating on, in order that one should get benefit from the light, not just from the electric lights that are in the room. So it shouldn't be too far away. It shouldn't be on the completely other side of the room. But if you could have it on the table, it's better. But if there's a concern that children will knock it over, so you could put it on a separate table. 32. One may eat on the porch or in a separate room than the room the candles have been lit in, provided that after the meal, one sits by the candles and benefits from them. So let's say you eat in a different room that your lights are in, your candles. So then if you maybe have dessert or maybe lounge around next to the in the room where the candles are, then you'll also fulfill benefiting from them. Okay, 33. The Shabbat candles may not be moved to a different spot after they are lit, except in cases of need, such as if there is a fire hazard. Similarly, if the mother of the household is ill, cannot get out of bed, then the candles may be brought to her bed so she can light them, and then they may be placed on the table in the dining room. So usually you should light where they're going to stay, but in case of need, then you're allowed to move them afterwards. Okay, this is a ruling of 45, ruling of Chazon Ovadia, unlike the Ben Ish Hai, who says you're not allowed to do that, and Halacha Barah, who lists other leniencies regarding moving the Shabbat candles from their original place when they were lit. Okay, there's a few other cases that this leniency applies. 34. One should not change a child or let a child walk around unclothed in front of the Shabbat candles. If one does not have anywhere else to change the child, you may change the child in the position that his head is facing the candles. This is also the case when changing a child in front of Sfarim. It's not right to make him change him and to make him face his his bottom to face the books, you have to make the head face the books. 35, according to Sephardic custom, one may not light the Shabbat candles next to another candle that is already lit. Ashkenazim, however, can have many people light Shabbat candles in the same spot with a bracha. Right? Shulchan Aruch says that you cannot make a blessing on a Tosefet Orah. That's a very famous case that comes up where people go away for Shabbaton and they light in the lobby all together. So over there, according to Sfaradim, once the first person who lights there with a bracha, that's it. Everyone else following who lights in the same place cannot make a bracha. Ashkenazim have a leniency to do that though. They do make a bracha when they're adding lights in the same place. If you want to say a bracha, you have to light in your room or light in a different place where there isn't light already, and then you'll be able to say with bracha. But if you're lighting in the same place, a Sephardic Jew, according to Shulchan Aruch, should not be lighting in the same place to make a bracha. Okay, 36. As stated above, both men and women are obligated to have Shabbat candles in their home. However, women are held even more responsible to light the candles in Erev Shabbat, right? Famously, that these are one of the 3 mitzvot that a woman, Chas v'shalom, dies in childbirth if she does not fulfill properly. Okay, let's see 49 for a second. The Rambam, Ilchot Shabbat, and the Shulchan Aruch must state that the reason why the mitzvah is mainly on the woman of the house is because women are generally at home more than the men, and therefore are more able to accomplish the mitzvah. Midrash Rabbah says the reason women should light specifically Shabbat candles in order to atone sin of Chava, who caused darkness in the world by eating from Etz Hadat. Okay, the Zohar says a few other reasons. Now, going back to 36, a man should not take this mitzvah away from his wife by lighting before she gets a chance to do so, but he may light candles without a bracha in other rooms around the house once his wife has lit the candles in the dining room. Okay, fine. Let's see 37. Once the woman in the house is lit, she has fulfilled the obligation for the rest of the people who are living in the home. So that's why the son and the daughter and the husband, they all don't need to light any more candles. She fulfilled it for the entire house. Her husband or any other members in the household do not have to listen to the bracha on the Shabbat candles in order to fulfill the obligation. Even if she's all alone when she does it, it works. 38, some people have the custom that the husband lights the Shabbat candles on the first Shabbat after the woman gives birth. However, many people do not have this custom. Interesting. 39, even if a woman is nidah, she's still obligated to light Shabbat candles. I actually met somebody who thought that they didn't, and they had a dream that their relative, their grandfather or their father came to them and told them, asked them, why are you not lighting Shabbat candles? Just because you're not nidah doesn't mean it's a sur. And then they started lighting the Shabbat candles again. But Halacha says that you're obligated nonetheless. 40, the man of the house should remind his wife to light candles before Shabbat. That's a famous Mishnah. Reread. All right, you have to ask 3 things that you have to ask in your house is Saraten, did you do Maaser? Aften, did you do Eruv? And Likwat and you command them to light the candles, but the Gemara says has to be b'nihuta, has to be with gentleness, not with don't do it with anger and aggressiveness. 40. That was 40. 41 is especially praiseworthy for the man in the house. Set up the candles before Shabbat for his wife. Okay, that's the name. Ben Ish Chai 57 says Ben Ish Chai Parshat Noach in the name of the Arizal. Okay, very good. The husband should have a partake in this mitzvah by setting it up. 42. One who's not married and is living on his own is obligated to light Shabbat candles with a bracha. Likewise, if one's wife will not be home for Shabbat, like let's say she was giving birth in the hospital and you're home alone, one must light in her stead. And even if she'll be lighting candles in the place that she's staying for Shabbat, since you're alone for Shabbat, you have to light Shabbat candles. Good. 43. If the mother of the household is not present, the father of the household should light candles, even if you have a daughter who's over bat mitzvah. So after the wife comes the husband. And this is the case even if one's married daughter is over Shabbat. Still, if the husband is available, the Baal Bayit should light. Interesting. If you look at the 59 over here, at the end of the middle of the note, however, Halacha Barah states that his father, Chacham Avodah Yosef, would rely on the lighting of another woman who lived in the home, such as his daughter-in-law or his granddaughter, to light Shabbat candles after his wife passed away, and he was not particular to light Shabbat candles himself. Okay, interesting. Let's do 44, and we'll end over here. If one's parents are not home for Shabbat, then the eldest female child who's over the age of bat mitzvah, she should light the candles at home for the household. If she's under bat mitzvah, then a boy who's bar mitzvah takes precedence, and he should light on behalf of the household. Okay, good. So you see, this applies to both man and to woman. It depends if the woman's away, so then the men have to do it. Okay, Hazak Baruch, we'll stop over here. Kol HaKavod. We had Mesirat Nefesh today, but we also did it today. Hazak Baruch. See you later, everybody. All the best.